Hello everyone and welcome back to a new video. You are watching Sports Within Sports. Now let's get into the video. Integrity, sportsmanship, and pride. If there are three words that make up the foundation of the sporting world, these would probably be at the top of the list. All sports are built on a drive to improve, the chance to compete against your peers, and the opportunity to build strong bonds with others. To many people, sports are the building block for life. But for all those that grow and mature through sports, some take things a little too seriously. To those individuals, losing isn't an option. Instead of trying harder and training longer, they cheat. Number 1. Ruiz's short journey. The marathon is a tough event with one of the biggest playing fields in sports. It covers 26.2 miles and leaves lots of opportunities for mischievousness. Rosie Ruiz is probably the most famous marathon cheat of all time, having crossed the line first in the 1980 Boston Marathon in a then record time of 2 hours, 31 minutes, and 56 seconds. All was not as it seemed, as it was later discovered that she had registered for the race and then jumped out of the crowd close to the finish line. Ruiz helped to inspire many anti-cheating techniques that are still used today, including the extensive video surveillance and RFID chips worn by all runners that monitor the times they arrive at various checkpoints. Number 2. Belichick and the Spygate scandal. This was a big story. With 6 Super Bowl titles on his CV, it is fair to say that the New England Patriots head coach Bill Belichick knows a thing or two about winning in the NFL. However, cheating controversies have dogged his career, with one of the most famous instances coming during a 2007 regular season game against the New York Jets. The Patriots were caught taping the Jets' defensive signals, a big no-no in American football. Further investigations uncovered diagrams of the Pittsburgh Steelers' defensive signals at New England's headquarters. The NFL fined Belichick $50,000, the Patriots organization $250,000, and took away a 2008 first-round draft pick. Number 3, Niekro gets a little scratchy. Joe Niekro pitched in the MLB for over 2 decades, maintaining impressive longevity by regularly throwing the knuckleball, a pitch that is extremely easy on a pitcher's arm. In 1987, he was pitching for the Minnesota Twins when the opposing team accused him of doctoring the ball. The umpire ordered him to empty his pockets, emery board, and a piece of sandpaper fell to the mound. Niekro was handed a 10-game suspension for doctoring the ball. Joe's brother Phil reportedly sent Joe a power sander with a 50-foot-long extension cord in an attempt to make light of the accidental incident. Number 4. Fun in the fog for Carmouche. Jockey Sylvester Carmouche surprised punters at Delta Downs Racetrack in January 1990 by finishing first on 23-1 long-shot landing officer. However, Carmouche had taken advantage of the extremely foggy conditions, dropping out of the mile-long race while lost from view and then rejoining the field to gallop to a 24-length victory. He came within 1.2 seconds of the track record, immediately raising the steward's suspicions. Despite protesting his innocence, he was disqualified and later received a 10-year ban after the other jockeys testified that Carmouche had not passed them. He eventually admitted his guilt and was reinstated after serving 8 years of his suspension. Number 5. Johnson suffers steroid shame. Top-class athletics has long had issues with performance-enhancing drugs, but the situation came to a head in stunning style at the 1988 Olympic Games. The 100-meter sprint is the glamour event of track and field, and Ben Johnson's victory over reigning champ Carl Lewis was viewed as a landmark moment for Canada. 2 days later, Johnson was stripped of his gold medal after he tested positive for stanzanol, and his record time of 9.79 seconds was deleted. One of the top 5 competitors in the race, only former world record holder and eventually bronze medalist Calvin Smith, never failed a drug test during his career. The gold medal should have been his. Number 6. The Harding and Kerrigan Affair. Putting aside the debate over whether figure skating is actually a sport for a moment, the 1994 Winter Olympics produced a truly staggering storyline. Tonya Harding was the 1991 U.S. figure skating champion, but became much more famous 3 years later when her ex-husband smashed rival skater Nancy Kerrigan in the knee. She denied any involvement in the incident and was allowed to compete in the games. Harding subsequently accepted a plea bargain in which she pleaded guilty to conspiracy to hinder prosecution. As a result of her involvement in the assault on Kerrigan, the U.S. Figure Skating Association banned her for life. She went on to compete in female boxing and release a sex tape, which should be avoided at all costs. Number 7. Chicago's big baseball scandal. The baseball scandal involving the Chicago White Sox in 1919 is undoubtedly one of the most famous examples of match fixing by any sports team in history. The White Sox were heavy favorites to beat the Cincinnati Reds, but rumors of the series being fixed were rampant after huge bets were placed on the outsiders. 8 members of the Chicago team were subsequently found guilty of conspiring to throw the series and banned for life. Some of the players vehemently denied any wrongdoing, with the star outfielder Shoeless Joe Jackson particularly vocal during the rest of his life. He was famously portrayed as being an innocent party in the superb 1989 movie Field of Dreams. Oh boy, that's a great movie, by the way. If you haven't seen it, watch it. Number 8. Brady's deflates his reputation. As highlighted earlier, the New England Patriots appeared to learn nothing from the Spygate scandal if their antics against the Indianapolis Colts in the 2014 American Football Conference Championship game are anything to go by. Patriots quarterback Tom Brady was found guilty of ordering the deliberate deflation of footballs used in the Patriots' victory. The controversy resulted in Brady being suspended for 4 games, the team fined $1 million, and the forfeit of 2 draft selections in 2016. The NFL subsequently changed the procedure for monitoring football pressure, preventing any future shenanigans. Despite the negative publicity surrounding Deflategate, Brady has since won another 3 Super Bowls to take his career tally to 7. Number 9. Armstrong turns out to be a dope. Stupid and the drug point. Lance Armstrong won the Tour de France a record 7 consecutive times from 1999 to 2005 after recovering from testicular cancer. His cycling achievements made him a hero to millions of fans across the world. Unfortunately, he was a massive cheat. He repeatedly denied any involvement in doping, but to a United States anti-doping agency, the USADA, investigation in 2012 concluded that Armstrong had used performance-enhancing drugs over the course of his career. He was named the ringleader of the most sophisticated, professionalized, and successful doping program that sports has ever seen. Armstrong eventually admitted his guilt in 2013, but the damage to his reputation was done. Professional cycling continues to be blighted by doping scandals, with the sport seemingly incapable of cleaning up its own act.
Yes or no? In all 7 of your Tour de France victories, did you ever take banned substances or blood dope?
Yes.
In your opinion, was it humanly possible to win the Tour de France without doping 7 times in a row?
Not in my opinion.
Finally, number 10. Lewis's madness ends in tragedy. The history of boxing has been littered with shady characters, and that description can undoubtedly be applied to Carlos Lewis. The lowlight of his career was the 1983 fight between Louis Resto and Billy Collins Jr., in which Lewis removed most of the padding from Resto's boxing gloves. He also soaked the tape that went on Resto's hands in plaster of Paris, meaning that Resto was basically beating his opponent in the head with a plaster cast for 10 rounds. Collins Jr.'s vision was blurred after the fight, leading to depression and subsequent death in a car accident that many people believed to be suicide. Lewis and Resto were both put on trial in 1986 and found guilty of assault, criminal possession of a weapon, Resto's hands, and conspiracy. Lewis was also found guilty of tampering with a sports contest. He was sentenced to 6 years in prison and Resto to 3 years. Collins Jr. wasn't so lucky. This is all for today, folks. If you enjoyed the video, then leave a like, and if you are new, then don't forget to subscribe. Stay tuned for the future updates, and we'll see you in the next video.